A woman stands at the TSA checkpoint. Her face is pale. Her hands are shaking. The officer looks at her driver's license and shakes his head. "Ma'am, this won't work. You need a real ID." She doesn't understand. "But I flew with this license 3 months ago." "Rules changed on May 7th. I'm sorry." Her flight leaves in 40 minutes. Her daughter's wedding is tomorrow morning. She's carrying the dress, the only dress that fits the bride. And now, she's standing here, unable to get through security. This is a real story. It happened in Chicago last summer. The question is simple. When the rules change, who's responsible for the people who didn't get the memo? Airports aren't the places where you just buy a ticket and board a plane anymore. They've become battlegrounds between those who know the new rules and those who don't, between technology and humanity, between "you should have known" and "nobody told me." Look around right now. Every third person in line is nervously checking their phone, not because they're bored, because they're scared of missing something, some message, some change, some new rule that appeared yesterday and everyone's supposed to know about already. A man in his 70s approaches the boarding pass scanner. He's holding a paper ticket. The agent looks at him like he just handed her a papyrus scroll from ancient Egypt. "Sir, where's your QR code?" "My what?" "On your phone. You need to show it on your phone." He doesn't have a smartphone. He has a Nokia from 2010 that just makes calls and sends texts, and that's always been enough. The agent sighs, starts manually typing in the confirmation number. Behind him, a line of 15 people. Someone rolls their eyes, someone sighs loudly. A young woman whispers to her friend, "God, why do old people even fly if they can't figure out technology?" But here's what she doesn't know. This man is flying to see his grandson, his only grandson, who was just diagnosed with leukemia. He's flying to get there while there's still time. His phone doesn't matter. His ticket doesn't matter. Only one thing matters. He has to make this flight. The system doesn't ask why you're flying. It only asks one thing. Do you comply with the rules? At the airline counter, another scene. A family of 4, parents and 2 kids. On the board next to their flight, a word lights up. Canceled. The father approaches the agent. "When's the next flight?" "Day after tomorrow. Thursday." "Thursday? But our cruise leaves tomorrow morning. We paid $8,000 for it." The agent types something on the computer, doesn't make eye contact. "Weather, nothing we can do. No refunds." The mother starts crying, quietly, covers her face with her hands so the kids won't see. They saved for 2 years for this vacation. 2 years. The child tugs at his father's sleeve. "Dad, are we still going on the ship?" The father doesn't answer, just stares at his phone screen, at a bank balance that won't come back. Here's what nobody says out loud. Airlines aren't responsible for your plans, for your wedding, for your cruise, for your last bye-bye to a dying parent. To them, you're just a seat number, just a ticket in the system. In the corner of the waiting area, an elderly couple looks out the window at the planes taking off. The woman holds a photograph in her hands, black and white, old, with bent corners. A young man in military uniform. 50 years, she says quietly to her husband. She's flying to Washington, to Arlington National Cemetery. Her brother was killed in Vietnam. She never made it to the funeral. There was no money. A whole life spent working, raising children, just trying to survive. Now, with the children grown, with some savings finally, she's going to say goodbye. Her flight is in 2 hours. She checks the ticket every 5 minutes, afraid something will go wrong, that the board will show canceled, that she'll have to wait another 50 years. This isn't just travel. This is the last chance to close a wound that hasn't healed for half a century. Near the bathrooms, a man in a wheelchair waits for assistance. He's been waiting 20 minutes. Press the call button. Nobody came. His flight is starting to board. Group 1, Group 2. He watches people pass by. Nobody stops to ask if he needs help. Finally, an airport employee appears. Out of breath, apologetic. "Sorry, sir, we're very busy today." The man just nods. He's used to it. Used to being last, used to waiting, used to a world that moves too fast for those who can't move fast themselves. They wheel him to the gate. Last, always last, even though he paid the same money as everyone else. A new announcement appears on the board. Flight to Atlanta delayed. Mechanical issue. Indefinite time. The room fills with groans. But one person smiles. A woman in the corner. She wasn't supposed to be on this flight. She was supposed to be on the flight that left an hour ago. But she overslept, panicked, thought everything was lost. Now her flight is delayed and she makes it. Sometimes being late saves you. Sometimes a missed flight is what keeps you from a disaster you'll never know about. The loudspeaker crackles. Final boarding for flight 1847 to Seattle. Last call for passenger Johnson. Somewhere in the terminal, Johnson is running. His shoes pound against the polished floor. His backpack slams against his back. His heart hammers. He can't be late. Not today. Not when there's a job offer waiting for him in Seattle. The only offer in 6 months of searching. He reaches the gate, out of breath. The agent looks at him sternly. "Last one, Mr. Johnson. Next time, arrive on time." He nods, too out of breath to explain that his car broke down on the way, that he left it on the shoulder and took a cab, that he spent his last $60 on that cab because he couldn't afford to miss this flight. Nobody asks for the story. Everyone only sees the result. Here's the real truth about airports. Behind every face is a story you don't see. Behind every delay is a reason you don't know. Behind every tear is a loss you can't measure. In the system doesn't care. It moves forward, cold, efficient, ruthless. Only one question remains. When it's your turn, when you're the one who's late, who didn't understand the rule, who got stuck in a system that doesn't forgive mistakes, who will stop to help you? Or will you too become another delay in the line? The plane sits on the tarmac. You're in your seat, bag stowed, seatbelt fastened. The pilot's voice comes through the speakers. "Folks, we've got a small mechanical issue. Maintenance is taking a look. Should be about 20 minutes. 20 minutes becomes 40. 40 becomes an hour. The cabin gets warmer. Babies start crying. A man 3 rows up starts breathing heavily. His wife touches his arm. He has claustrophobia, but there's no exception for panic. The system says you wait. You look around the cabin. Everyone's face tells a different story. The businessman in 12A keeps refreshing his email. He's missing a board meeting where they're voting on his proposal. 6 months of work. Without him there to defend it, it'll probably get rejected. In 18C, a young woman stares at her phone. Her father is in surgery right now. She promised she'd be there when he wakes up. Now she's sitting here watching minutes tick away, breaking that promise. The pilot comes back on. "Folks, we've got a part. We're returning to the gate. The flight is canceled." The line at customer service stretches 50 people deep. An elderly man reaches the front. "Please," he says, "my wife is in hospice. They said I have maybe 2 days. I need to get to Phoenix." The agent types, looks at her screen. The next flight with availability is tomorrow morning. Tomorrow? His voice breaks. She might not.
The agent's face softens. "Sir, I understand, but I don't have anything sooner." He stands there, not moving, the weight of the moment too heavy to carry. Here's what you need to understand. Airlines legally aren't responsible for your connections, your events, your emergencies. Read your ticket contract. It says so in the fine print. They're only responsible for getting you from A to B eventually. Not on time, not conveniently, just eventually. So, what can you do? First, travel insurance. Real travel insurance that covers cancellations, delays, emergencies, not the cheap add-on at checkout. Read what it actually covers. Medical emergencies, weather, mechanical issues. Know the difference. Second, always book the earliest flight possible for important events. If your daughter's wedding is at 2 p.m. Saturday, don't fly in Saturday morning. Fly in Friday. Give yourself a buffer. Yes, it costs more, but missing the wedding costs everything. Third, know your rights. If a flight is canceled, you're entitled to a refund, not just a credit. The airline won't tell you this. You have to ask. Specifically say, "I want a refund, not a voucher." Fourth, credit cards matter. Premium travel cards often include delay protection, trip interruption coverage, even emergency travel assistance. That annual fee might save you thousands when things go wrong. A woman in her 40s gets rebooked. She'll get home 6 hours late. She immediately calls her teenage son. "Hey, mom's gonna be late. Can you get dinner started?" Simple, but in this moment, after hours of stress, hearing her son's voice is everything. Near gate B7, college students laugh about their canceled spring break. Road trip instead. Youth sees adventure where experience sees disaster. They have time, they have flexibility. But across from them, a single mother sits alone. She was flying to a job interview, her only interview in 6 months. She calls the recruiter. "We understand, but we have a schedule. We'll have to move forward with other candidates." 6 months of searching. This was her shot. Now, it's gone. Here's the hard truth. The system punishes the vulnerable. If you're wealthy, delays are inconvenient. You rebook on another airline, rent a car, buy a last-minute ticket. If you're not wealthy, a canceled flight can mean losing a job opportunity, missing a funeral, choosing between a hotel room and groceries next week. This is why preparation matters, not because you're paranoid, because you're realistic. An announcement echoes. "Now boarding all groups for Flight 2156 to Denver." People jump up, rush to the gate, like it's a race. This is what air travel does to us. It turns us into anxious competitors. A pilot walks through the terminal in uniform. People look at him with respect, with trust. But he's thinking about his daughter's soccer game, the third one he's missing this month. The cost of keeping strangers safe is missing moments with people who love you. You finally board. Middle seat. The person at the window was asleep. The person at the aisle has claimed both armrests. You squeeze in 17 inches of personal territory for the next 4 hours. The flight attendant does the safety demonstration. You've seen it 100 times. But here's something most people don't know. In an actual emergency, the first 90 seconds are critical. That's when most survivors escape. Count the rolls to the nearest exit. Do it every flight. It could save your life. The engines roar. You're moving. Finally moving. But here's the question. Was it worth it? All the stress, the waiting, the quiet desperation? The answer you don't want to admit is you don't have a choice. This is the world now. You either play by the rules or you don't get to play at all. The real skill isn't avoiding the system. It's learning to navigate it when it breaks. And it will break. The question is whether you'll be ready. The plane levels off at 35,000 feet. The seatbelt sign dings off.
You look out the window. Clouds below, sky above. Up here, suspended between departure and arrival, there's strange peace. Nobody can reach you. No emails that matter, no emergencies you can fix. You're untouchable for a few hours. It's the last truly disconnected space in modern life. A flight attendant pushes the drink cart. Something to drink? She's asked this 10,000 times, but she still smiles, still treats each person like they matter. An older gentleman orders ginger ale, just like the old days, when flying was special. She nods. It was different then. Was it really better? Or do we just remember it that way? Flying has always been a miracle wrapped in mundane discomfort. We just forget the miracle part now. We focus on fees and legroom and delays. We forget we're hurtling through the atmosphere at 500 miles per hour. That a century ago, this would have been magic. The woman next to you pulls out her phone, scrolls through photos. You catch glimpses: a grandson's birthday, a garden in bloom, a man in a hospital bed. Then, pale, but smiling, she stares at it for a long moment, then closes the phone and looks out the window. Some stories don't need to be told to be understood. Behind you, a baby cries. The mother tries everything. Someone mutters, "Jesus Christ." But a grandmother calls back, "You're doing great, honey." Babies cry. Don't let anyone make you feel bad. Small kindness, in a place that often feels devoid of it. The pilot's voice returns. "We're hitting some turbulence." The plane shudders. Your stomach lurches. Turbulence is normal. Planes are built for this. But your body doesn't care about statistics. The man across the aisle closes his eyes, grips his wife's hand. She squeezes back. No words needed. The turbulence passes. But something changed. For a few seconds, everyone felt the same fear, the same helplessness, the same relief. That's what crisis does. It reminds us we're all fragile, all human. The descent begins. Everyone starts preparing. You look around at all these people who shared this experience with you. You'll never see most of them again, but for a few hours, you were part of the same journey. The wheels touch down. Applause breaks out. We made it. You shuffle down the aisle, thank the flight attendants. They've heard it a million times, but they still appreciate it, because most people don't say anything at all. The elderly couple from earlier walks slowly ahead. The woman still clutches that photograph. They move together, unhurried, like they have all the time in the world, even though you know they don't. You hold the door. She looks back and nods. One small gesture. Human to human. Outside, the air hits you. Different city, different temperature. You're somewhere else now. Here's what nobody tells you about air travel. It's a mirror. It shows you who you are when you're stressed and powerless. Whether you're the person who complains about the crying baby or defends the struggling mother. Whether you roll your eyes at the elderly man with the paper ticket or offer to help. The question isn't whether the system is broken. It is. The question is, what kind of person will you be inside that broken system? 3 practical things to remember. First, control what you can. Download your boarding pass. Charge your phone. Know the rules before you go. Check real ID requirements. Set alerts for flight changes. Small preparation prevents big disasters. Second, build in buffers. For important events, arrive a day early. For tight connections, allow 3 hours minimum. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. And third, choose kindness. The gate agent didn't cause the delay. The flight attendant didn't make the rules. The person struggling with technology isn't stupid.
They're just from a different era. We're all navigating the same broken system. How we treat each other in that system defines us. Because here's the truth. We're all just trying to get somewhere. We're all carrying something: bags, worries, grief, hope. We're all one canceled flight away from being the person at the counter with tears in their eyes. The system won't change for you. Airlines optimize for profit, not people. Airports prioritize efficiency over empathy. That's reality. But between the gates and delays and turbulence, there are moments, small moments of connection, of kindness, of shared humanity. Those moments don't fix the system, but they remind us why we keep going anyway. So next time you're in an airport, stressed and running late, look around. Really look. See the stories happening around you, the struggles, the quiet acts of grace, and maybe be part of someone else's good moment in a bad day. Because someday, you'll be the one who needs it, the one with the canceled flight or the terrible news waiting at the other end. And you'll hope, desperately hope, that someone sees you, that someone stops, that someone helps. We're all just passengers, trying to reach destinations we hope are worth the journey. The question is, who will you be along the way?